Muito bom dia a todos, sejam muito bem-vindos à divulgação de resultados
Good
do
morning, everyone. So welcome to this quarter of the results and the consolidation of the year for Ourofino. I'm Mariana Anselmo, I'm part of the communication team, and it's a pleasure to be here. This recording, we are recording this and it will be available on our website as well as on youtube.com/saúde animal, Ourofino Saúde Animal. After the presentation, we will have our Q&A session, and in case you want to participate, you can click on it, and there is a very nice disclaimer, which is that this presentation will bring statements about future events that are submitted to risks and uncertainties, and some statements has as beliefs and assumptions of our administration and information that the company could have access, statements about future events, and the exceptions related to statements and information about the future also include information about the operational results as statements that are followed or in which the words such as believe, can, will be, will continue, wait, predict, intend, plan, can have some similar expressions, and the statements information about the future are not the guarantee of performance, and they involve risks, uncertainties, and the future results and the creation of value for the stakeholders can differ in a significant way the things that are expressed or suggested, and the sum of those factors will determine these results and values that go beyond our control and prediction. So after the disclaimer, I will invite our CEO, Kleber Gomes, as well Marcelo Silva, the financial director, and the relation with investors. So to start our round here, I will invite Kleber to give his remarks. So welcome.
Olá, Mari, tudo bem? Bom dia.
Good morning.
Estou fora do escritório, vocês estão me vendo bem? Estão ouvindo bem?
Can you hear me well? Because I'm not in the office.
Bom dia a todos.
Good morning, everyone. As I've said, I'm out. So I just hope that there is no technical issue, and Marcelo will lead the Q&A session with the team, okay? With the people who are in the office.
A gente veio notificando, explicando.
We have been explaining everything that has been happened. We know that last year wasn't a good year. We had several challenges. And basically, we had no vaccination for 6 months. We had the suspension of exportation of some kinds of meat, and then we had some issues in the end of the year. The price of the meat was lower, and several states had the same issue because of foot and mouth disease, and as well as the application of products, and everything brought some impacts on reproduction. So the prices lowered a lot. There was a postponement of the negotiations, and we also had the drop of some pesticides. We also had the other situations. We know that the market had a deceleration, but it's not our goal here to explain every time the situation where we are in, but we needed to explain how we needed to adjust And as we see the seriousness of it, we know that it would be a hard year, but it was much harder than we thought. And we've been taking collective actions. We had an action of constraint of the expenses. It worked well. We had a positive impact on the cost reductions, but not enough to compensate the fall of our performance, the reduction of it. We worked a lot in the second half of the year with our board. Looking ahead, we did everything we could to give the best results, but that's not the result that we wanted. But we really worked hard on 2024 to have a good year as we did in 2020, 2021, 22. It's obvious that Ourofino has had other important years, but we have to remember that from 22 to 23, we doubled the size of the company, so we gained the market share, but now we have to look ahead, and now we have some actions. I will mention some of them. A very important one was to segmentate our BU, our former BU, so then now we have it two. We had the ruminants and the other one that is specific for swine. We had some movements in the like in the board, and now we have a director that I will introduce to you. He's very skilled, that has come to lead this new BU. So that's what we have. And for the swine, as we have the need in this business to be more diversified and to have a better growth in this sector, we have brought Marcelo Farias, a very skilled person that has been in several important companies and will help us a lot. So we guarantee the focus on what we need. One will strongly work on the cattle area, and Marcelo on the other one. In ruminants, for example, we had the 3 executive managers, but now we have a different models. Now there will be only one national, either national manager, one for marketing, that has come to reinforce this team. We also have changed the swine and bird segment. We have a large project to expand this line. So all those changes have been made internally. We had a change in the board, and now we see in this fourth quarter the result of this change. We had a growth. Last week, we had a distributor convention with several processes, and we are reinforcing some of our teams. We have worked a lot on the distributors' mindset to be more aggressive, and in the company, we are looking at the results of the areas to be more agile, efficient, and we were able to build a budget for this year that will bring the profitability that we expect for us, for the investors, and for the stakeholders. We did that what we thought that was important. I'm very confident. We had 2 good months, like January and February, and we also have a good view, a good view for the launch of products, a good perspective. So I would like to highlight my commitment as a CEO to change this scenario, and that, as well as the approach that we've had with the board, and we are demanding this change. I'm very confident in the in the new board that we have, in all the leadership that we have for Ourofino, and I'm totally sure that we'll have a great year in 2024. And I really thank you. Marcelo will lead the end of it. I'll try to stay to the end, but Marcelo will lead this Q&A session. Thank you, Kleber. So to reinforce the invitation, I really would like you to participate in this Q&A session. Just write your question here in this part, and now I will invite our director, Marcelo Silva. So please, the floor is yours. Thank you, Mari. Good morning. I will continue here with the call of your results, bringing some more information related to it. Kleber has brought a very good view of the market and where we tried to come back again to have this resumption and the result of better efficiency, and also the capital was better for the cash. We doubled the generation of the cash in the company. And this combination of the reduction of costs and the generation, the increase of the generation of the cash enabled the company to close the year with very good levels for the leverage, as well as the financial cost, which enables us to have this strong agenda for the launch of new products and to have this recovery of growth for 2024. As Kleber said, the fourth quarter of 2023 was in a very complex scenario, especially for some kind of animals. We had the reduction of the volume of sales for the reproduction, for the animal reproduction, which is for the insemination protocol. And because of the price, which was lowered from 3,000 to 1,000 last year. So there was a fall in this protocol. Besides the volume, we had the impact of price, which was very strong. Basically, all the companies that work in this segment, not to have the significant losses in their inventory, they changed their prices, and with that, we had the impact on it. We had the frustration of the we had the frustration because of the vaccines and because of the foot and mouth disease, and there were some spare vaccines in this campaign, which also changed the price of it. We are actually 7 states that didn't vaccinate their animals. So as now it's not mandatory to have the vaccination of foot and mouth disease, brings an impact on us, especially on the center north of our country. The campaigns of it were followed by the application of other medicines, of other drugs, which brings the change of this new dynamic. And looking at the segment for those animals, the wholesale is still different, but the retail is still good. And now the launch of new products in the company was also something good and gave us a growth of 10%. And comparing to this year, we had also a reduction. In the fourth quarter of 2023, we had a spot sales to Indonesia with higher prices, which give us this comparison base related to the third quarter of 2022. So this 13% of reduction that we show here in the fourth quarter compared to 2022 reflects this combination of factors, as well as the drop of the growth margin is the result of the lower volume, which brings lower fixed costs, but then we had to have a forecast for the inventory, for the foot and mouth disease, and for the reproduction line, because what we predicted, we couldn't carry out because of the demand that was lower. For the accumulation of the year was the gross margin is 49. The result of the year reflects on the conditions we had the biggest impact in the last quarter, especially for the inventory, for the feet and mouth disease, and the repositioning of some products. In the previous slide, I gave an overview of the market about our product lines. The one that I had the largest impact was for the feet and mouth disease, and we had this impact on the gross margin because of the lower volume of sales, as well as the reproduction line, and because of everything that I have already mentioned. So the company animals, we grew 10.7 in this fourth quarter, and this growth is because of the launch of new products, and the other parts is because of the sellout of the distributors. So we close here with a good balance between sell-in and sell-out. As Kleber said, we had the convention, so we started this year with a good volume in the inventory, so it gives us the idea that we will continue growing well. The gross margin closes, it doesn't close well. Last year, actually didn't close well last year because of some products. International operations, the drop of 10.9 in the fourth quarter, it's the comparison that we had, where we had a strong sale of more than 90 million of revenue to Indonesia, and then it's 13.6. So we finished the year with a growth in international operations. When we compare the gross margin to, in this area, it goes to 52. There isn't any inversion or any change in the price. We still have the effect of the prediction of the loss of the investments that we had in the company because of the food and the feed and food disease, because as some companies don't do it, some countries, then we have this issue, and then other countries such as Argentina, Colombia, Paraguay have the same issue, and that's why we had to stop the operation to other countries. That's what affects the growth margin. Then we had this reflex here, as Kleber said, the shares that were not focusing on the core of the company. There was no restriction for investment, but we didn't have anything for the research and development. So the investment was focused only internally on the departments, and we had a reduction of 13%. And this reduction of 13 doesn't capture the total of the adjustments that we made, and then it brings other costs such as determinations, among others. In 2024, now has a lighter structure due to the reduction costs that we had last year, more strongly in the fourth quarter. We kept the same level in R&D. We didn't have a reduction for the investments. The projects were kept within the deadline that we had. The reduction of EBITDA, which is a combination of because of the sales that were lower, and also the reduction of G&A, but this is not enough to compensate this gross margin. I think it's important to highlight that the cash generation is a reflex of the reduction of the financial cycle because of the reduction of the inventory. We shortened the deadlines that we had with some distributors. We also reduced the credits of some taxes. There it was 190 million only for cash. So then we close the year with 304 million in cash. The robust cash generation, which leverage the capital structure. We have always worked with a proper capital structure because we invest in research, development. We always have a good technology. So our capital is suitable to the investment that we have in the areas as a pharmaceutical segment. We had a project of 225 million, and we had a very good condition in this process with the cost of TR plus 2.8. The funding that we had lowered our cost, which was a very positive cost, and we closed December with this number of 80.3. We started the year with this number of 80.3, lower than 2023. Then we have the profile of debt, 77% for like long term. So we are more than 41% above this number. So we can take a breath here, and we will be able to generate our cash in this year. I wrap up here, bringing or actually agreeing on what Kleber said. Last year wasn't so positive. We had to take several actions to recover, but for the production line, we weren't able to recover as much as we wished, but we tried to keep the health of the company with the capital cost lower, and the leverage was very healthy, and the commitment to continue 2024 with a better agenda with our growth. I thank you, and I give the word back to Mariana. Thank you, Marcelo. I invite everyone to participate in this Q&A session, so feel free to write whatever you wish. And I thank you again for your attendance. And then I have already a question here. So Marcelo, let's go back with you. And then just to participate, ask your question here, put your name and the institution that you represent. The first question is from Caio Barroso, and he says, what is the impact of the change according to the vaccination obligation for the foot and mouth disease, and how does it impact the company? And yes, it brought a relevant impact, especially in the last quarter, and we can have this variation if you compare the gross margin of 2022 to 2023, the difference is significant because of this foot and mouth disease. But there is something else, which is the change of the dynamic of the market, especially in the center north of the country. Because in the past, it was mandatory as other vaccines, and now it's not mandatory anymore. And it can change all the handling that we have because the campaigns were held in some months, and now maybe because as there are no campaigns, the sales will be lower. But I believe that the market will still grow because the animals need the vaccines, regardless this issue. As we have no more questions, so our Q&A session will finish, and then I will call Kleber Gomes again to carry out the final remarks of this
Sim, Mari, tá tudo jóia.
transmission. So, Kleber, can you hear me well? As we said, I think the main message here is that we will recover what we had with strategic actions, and we are very confident that this year will be better, especially with the results that we had for these two last months. Yes, it was a very, very hard year. I think it was the hardest one in my whole history, my whole journey, but I'm sure that we will be stronger and we will be much more efficient because we learn, and then we will work hard to bring great results in regardless this scenario that we had. And I'm sure that Fino's team will give the answers that we need. So thank you, and we are always available here through our IR area in case you have questions. So thank you, Mari. Thank you, Kleber. I thank you, Marcelo, and I thank you all of you for being here with us. As Kleber said, I also I will remind you that this will be available on our website and on our YouTube channel. And we are here to talk to you, and then see you next